Hello and welcome to the Joseph Early Show. We have a great show for you today. It is November 11th, 2020, and also want to say happy Veterans Day to all the veteran men and women that have fought for America. Really for the American people. And we've shown on this show several times before that the United States is a corporation. I know. You're not going to believe me, so here it is. Title 28, USC 3002-15A. Look it up. It's the definition of United States. It's a federal corporation. But be that as it may, you veterans have fought for us, the American people. And we greatly, greatly appreciate that. And now the American people are going to fight for you, for what you've done for our country. Now, we have seen, and you know your oath of office, to protect the Constitution in part, here it is, to protect the Constitution from enemies, foreign and domestic. Well, a lot of people would not believe that in America, the biggest enemies to America are the enemies from within. You see, America could never get captured from without. So, what the globalists did is they started on a plan during the summer of 1946 called the Administrative Procedures Act. Along with the communists, they have spent decades to try to capture America. And thank goodness it's happened on our watch. Do you know that you are here for a reason? You're here in the earth for a specific time and reason. And the reason that you're here, right now, is to help the people throughout the world. Do you know that as America goes, so goes the rest of the globe, the entire world? There are countries all over this globe that are pulling for freedom. They're pulling for President Trump. Because under Joe Biden, you're going to get the Paris Accord again. You're going to get all the trash back. Well, I don't want any of that trash back. DACA, all that junk would be coming back. I don't want it. I want freedom. We're fighting for freedom because this is a spiritual fight. And some of you that don't have a clue that there is a realm that's more real than what you can see, hear, smell, your five physical senses. There is a realm that is so real that it's not changing. The thing that you see is temporal. It is going to change. And it's going to change in a big way. So we're fighting for righteousness. We're fighting for the rule of law. We're fighting against an evil force that wants to come in and destroy your life, your children's life, your grandchildren's life forever. That's what they want to do. They want to capture you. Now listen, if you like communism, go live in Cuba. Go to China. Go live in China if you like that. I don't like that. I want freedom. And America has not been free for several decades. We've been told about freedom that, well, you live in the best country in the world and you're free and blah, blah, blah. Well, that's really not true. But right now, we're going to have an opportunity to live in a country that is free. President Trump's primary focus and goal is to return power back to the people. You know, he's done some things that few people know about that are going to manifest. In other words, you're going to find out after the first of the year. And I think I know what it is. I'm not going to say anything. Maybe I'll just write it in an envelope and seal it, but I think I know what it is. I have a sneaking suspicion that President Trump is going to deal with the IRS, the Federal Reserve, the fraudulent corporation. A lot of people have no clue at all what a banana republic you actually live in. But great things are coming for America, and we're going to get into this voter issue, but we want to make sure we don't get lost in the voter issue because, you know, what happened to Epstein? What happened to Epstein's right-hand girl? What's happened to Hunter? Where's Hunter? You see, this is why there's this big push for Biden and Harris right now that they're linchpin puppets. That's really what they are, the fake news media. They're puppets. Biden's a puppet. Harris is a puppet. They are clueless, absolutely clueless. But that's why you're seeing the fake news media really go to bat for these people. Because when Trump comes in for his second term, you're going to see some real exposure of things. Because Hunter Biden is only a door. He has opened Pandora's box with the laptop to a world that most American people have never seen before. And it's going to be phenomenal. Wait till you see what comes out. And what's going to come out on Paul Pelosi. That'd be Nancy's little boy. Well, there's going to be some really interesting things that happen. But for right now, we're going to focus on this election fraud, and we're going to show you some proof and probably show you some things that are you'll see this again when court time comes. And we're going to follow this all the way through. And the great part about this is that this is federal. It's going to be on Pacer, and we're going to be able to show you everything that happens. All right, let's get in to review our first article with Gateway Pundit. Breaking exclusive. Analyst of election night data from all states shows millions of votes either switched from President Trump to Biden or were lost using Dominion and other systems. Now, this was November 10th, last night at 6:32 p.m., and this is going to be a very important story for us to look at because there are several things in this story that you're going to want to know about. Trust me. Back to the text. We've reported on numerous events in the 2020 election which are being referred to as system glitches in the media. Last night, we provided another glitch, this time in Wisconsin, which, if reversed, will eliminate Biden's reported vote lead in the state. Break from the text. Ladies and gentlemen of America, you are seeing the media, the Operation Mockingbird media, the fake news media deceive you and not show you the truth. Now, this is why this is so important for you to send this video to everybody you know. And I'm talking about even people that are retired. Send this video to them because they need to know that Fox News, by the way, that's going down in flames, Fox News, CNN, MSLSD, ABC, CBS, NBC, all of them, they are lying to the people. And the people use this as, well, my favorite program comes on, so I watch my favorite program, and then all of a sudden the news hits me. Let me tell you what they've done specifically. They have the news designed and set up for in the morning. Now, this runs 24/7, but here's their biggest focus is at supper time. When the American people sit down to have dinner, a large majority of them eat their food while watching the news. And then at 10 o'clock at night. So they catch you right when you're going into that drowsy stage. You're sitting there, you've watched your programs. Now all of a sudden it's about 10 o'clock and you're starting to doze off while you're being programmed with this filth of the world that they've lied to you, probably for all your life. So that's why it's so important that your friends, your family, get the truth. And we're showing you the truth. Now, again, when we show people things, black ink, white paper, here it is, they tend to doubt it. Why? I don't know. Cognitive dissonance, probably. I'm sure that's what that is. But when you experience this for yourself, now all of a sudden you begin to see what's really going on. All right, back to the article. Tonight we have obtained an unaudited analysis of data available for all the states looking for system glitches and other oddities in vote counts relating to the presidential race only. Last night we reported on another so-called system glitch, this time in a county in Wisconsin. Evidence was provided to us that showed that the vote totals for Rock County appeared to be switched between President Trump and Joe Biden. 9,516 votes were eliminated from President Trump and moved to Joe Biden. This 19,032 vote difference, when corrected, would eliminate Biden's lead in Wisconsin. Uh-oh. Guys, we've told you. President Trump won this thing. The Democrats cheated. But see, this isn't the party, the Democratic Party of possibly your father, your grandfather. This is a Luciferian party. This is a baby-killing, blood-drinking, child sacrifice party. That's what they stand for. They're supposed to be tolerant. They're the most violent group out there. Anyway, let's get back to the article. Let's see what else the Gateway Pundit has written here. In the Post last night, we also identified issues we've reported on in Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Georgia, where similar glitches occurred. We next attempted to obtain more data on this issue so we could determine how widespread this issue may be and or if there are reasonable explanations for what is occurring. Then tonight, we were led to a site on the internet, and you see the site domain, where someone who has seen our post decided to do an analysis himself. Well, let's just keep going. In the piece, the author claims his work is a full list of votes switched from Trump to Biden or votes erased by Dominion, the vote machine used in many states across the U.S. The author claims that his work has been verified, but we have not verified the results, so we currently are labeling his results unaudited. Probably a good move. The author decided to obtain the data himself and perform an analysis of national vote switched from Trump to Biden and votes erased. The total amount of votes counted decreased by the amount throughout the counting. We've sent this website over to our data department. They're going through, they know how to write code. So they're going to go through and we're going to see if there's any monkey business going on in this thing. So we'll see how this works out. I have a feeling this is what's going to be utilized if it's right once it gets audited. But this is going to be utilized in the court proceedings. Now, here's something else very important for the viewers, and if you're listening to this on the podcast, for the people listening to this to understand. And that is this. Every keystroke you have ever made on a computer system has all been recorded and filed in a particular area on the internet. Your phone, telephone, all calls have been stored. All text messages have been stored. Everything has been captured. Now, this voting machine, even though it's in, where did I look up? They had an IS address or an extension. I think it's New Zealand. Even though this Dominion voting system is a complete fraud in what they're doing, but they're also not inside. And who set this up? They're not an American company. They're not owned by Americans. That's for darn sure. And the people that do own it, we've already seen that George Soros and some of these other clowns. There may be some Democratic operatives that have ownership in this software. Anyway, let's go back to the text here. The author obtained data that has been passed around that was reportedly captured by the New York Times on election night. By examining the data, the author was able to locate an instance where votes were switched from Trump to Biden, so he decided to perform an analysis on the entire data set, starting with the state where Dominion voting machines are used. The author also claims that the data is from Edison Research, and it is the same data that is used for election coverage by at least ABC News, CBS News, CNN, and NBC News. Well, what does that tell you? It is also used for the website of the New York Times and probably others as well. Here are the unaudited results by state. Kind of interested to see this. And let's see what we have here. The chart lists votes switched from Trump to Biden and votes that were lost by Trump. So, Pennsylvania, 220,883 votes that were switched. Okay, well, what does that really do? Then we have lost votes, 941,248 lost votes. So there you go. There you go, guys. 1,000,001 más o menos of votes that left Trump, that didn't count. Everybody that voted for Trump in Pennsylvania should be a little revved up about that. Actually, we all should be all over the country. Now, in New Jersey had 80,242 switched and 20 lost. Florida, 21,422 switched, 456 lost. Michigan, 20,213 switched, 21,882 lost. I bet that number's going to be a lot higher before it's all over with. New York, 18,124 switched, 623,213 lost. Georgia, 17,407 switched, 33,574 lost. Let's just kind of go through here, see if there's any big numbers. Ohio, 14,965 switched. 5,102 lost. Virginia, 12,163 switched. And they lost 789,023 votes. Almost 800,000 votes in Virginia lost. California, that's surprising in California. Only 7,701 were switched, and votes lost 10,989. Lost votes. Arizona, 4,492 were switched, 0 lost. Okay, Minnesota, 2,766 switched, 195,650 lost. Then we have some other states here. Illinois, I would have thought Illinois would have been a lot higher. 2,166 switched and 54,730 lost votes. Wisconsin, 2,078 switched, 3,408 lost. Well, again, these are unaudited number, guys. So, one of those things that you take with a grain of salt. But Kansas and Texas uses Premier Election Solutions owned by Dominion. Who gave these guys this contract in Texas? That's what we need to find out. A matter of fact, we have some private investigators that listen to this show, and that would really be something worth finding out. Who gave this contract to Dominion? So in Texas, we have 14,954 that was switched and 30,557 that were lost. In Kansas, it was 1,674 switched and 2,154 that were lost. So in these two states, we have 16,628 that were switched and 32,711 that were lost. Let's go on. Let's see if there's any other large numbers here. So Nebraska, now that's surprising, 30,086 that were switched and 50 lost. And you can see everything there on the screen. Okay, I'm going to call flag on the play here because the District of Criminals, that would be the District of Columbia, have 0 switched and 0 lost. I have a real hard time believing that. Hey, I could be wrong. Who am I? Connecticut, Massachusetts, Oregon, Alabama, Mississippi, West Virginia, we had 0 that were switched and 78,300 that were lost. So we have an overall grand total of 2.8 million. And overall total, wait a minute. What is that? Oh, I see. Okay, I got it. All right. Let's get back into the article here on, let's see here. Based on this initial analysis, over 500,000 votes were identified that were switched from President Trump to Joe Biden. In addition to this, another 2,865,757 votes were deleted. Note that these numbers have not yet been audited by us. We also have not performed this exercise by county in these states, which could impact the countrywide vote total even more. More needs to be done. But what is clear, there are some very questionable transactions occurring within the voting machines and applications which need to be reviewed further because of apparent material issue in reporting. Yeah, I'd say. One of the other things that I would do is not only sue Dominion, but potentially criminal charges against these people and their board members and all stockholders. How about that? We know there was a tremendous amount of fraud in the 2020 election. Nobody was following Joe Biden, and he had zero support, and yet his vote count surpassed the greatest campaign in U.S. history led by President Trump. We are supposed to believe Joe Biden defeated President Trump and at the same time lost seats in the U.S. House and state legislatures. This is highly improbable. It looks like the Democrats did everything imaginable in their attempt to steal this election. The problem was they never expected President Trump to lead a record-breaking campaign, and they got caught. More will be exposed. I can promise you more will be exposed on this issue. Well, let's just keep moving because things just get better and better and better. Case in point about more to come. A friend of mine had just sent me this information about Scorecard, and I was familiar with Hammer and Scorecard because what the CIA and the FBI do is really criminal. As we've said earlier in our broadcast, everything that you do is spied upon and can be altered. I've seen YouTube change a word in a live presentation or take a word out of a live presentation. They do that. They can do this on the fly. And this is nothing new. So, look, I tell you what, let's go to this video real quick. And then we'll see you here on the Joseph Early Show later this evening for more updated information. Roll that video.
The hammer and the application that works with it, called Scorecard, is designed to change votes on the fly as they are reported by tallying locations in all precincts and counties, whatever applies to your state, as totals are reported via the internet. The data is grabbed in real time, changed, and sent on its way. And this happens in microseconds. I'm not going to go into the technical details of how that happens. Just realize that the data is changed so quickly in the favor of whatever candidate it's told to favor that no one notices a delay and just accepts the total. And this has been going on in numerous states, to include battleground states, during this whole election. And it is still going on as votes are being counted and reported up echelon. Now, this evening, lawyer Sidney Powell, the personal attorney of General Michael Flynn, and someone who is known to the President of the United States, appeared on Lou Dobbs this evening and reported this fact. And she added the fact that data has been obtained from the whistleblower who built the capability, Mr. Dennis Montgomery, who was a national hero in this matter, having made this data available. There is forensic evidence showing what data was changed, where it came from, and where it was going to. And a record is kept. That means there is direct, solid evidence of voter fraud perpetrated by the people that are operating this hammer scorecard combination to change the votes of the citizens of this country. And in my way of thinking, if that is true, Mr. Trump will have no problem in court overthrowing the kind of results we are seeing reported.